Howdy. Uh, let's just have a quick look at that and then continue. Hmm.
A pronounced movement of Mars occurred close to but not precisely on the planetary axis. Now the celestial crescent appeared as the horns of the warrior himself, in his identity as the bull of heaven. And it should not surprise us that the foundation post bore the image of the bull at its apex. When it reached the earth, the stream presented the form of a great pillar or cosmic mountain.
So now, check this out. We were talking about metal, and I think something interesting for those people who are into metal. So you probably know the horns, which are very often associated to metal music. It might be the heavenly pillar. I should use other colors. That's Mars. Let's take blue. That's Venus. And that's Saturn. And the heavenly pillar, and we have already Perret instabilities included in that. For those who know to look for patterns. Here they are. Traditional design is full of Perret instabilities, plasma discharge patterns, and such things. And today it was cloudy, really nicely cloudy. And there's no airplane involved in these pictures at all. That's totally natural occurrence, which is really nice. That's the same, a little bit increased. And there are really nice filamentary structure visible. Spinning movement is observable as well. And repetitive patterns all over the place. Equal spacing and such. Yeah, and this was really amazing to watch. Surreal. That's through glasses. No, that's a video actually. The first nights come in white, they say. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. There's a huge cross in the sky above the house. Whoa. It's actually, yeah, that's above the house. It's actually more about the plasma rock side, I guess. I haven't checked out Windy yet. But it seems to be above the house. Some really nice cloud structure for whatever reason. Maybe someone heard I go to the plasma rock site today. And here's the Daily Dragon. Every day you should have your eyes open and watch for dragons. So now let's watch some rocks. That's the first time I went there this year after the winter. And I noticed they made some new signs. Looks really professional. And here, in comparison, or for comparison, that's the old style. And I prefer these more. But obviously, things have to get updated, even though there is Finnish engineering at its best. How old becomes new. Amazing. That's the lake, Pyhäjärvi, Pyhäselkä, which basically means the holy lake or something. That's also part of the new restoration program they had going on last year with those benches and stuff and those paths they built. They were destroying many routes with the water bulldozers or machines they used. And you just walk into the area and there's already so much stuff to look at. That's a tree. And rocks. I just looked down where I stood, and these kinds of things are there all over the place. This could be some perlusite. This could be some manganese. But I don't know. They don't answer me. I don't get any answers to my questions. These kind of rocks you find there, you don't really have to search for them. Yeah, this is how it looked when it was on the ground. Picked it up and checked it out like this, and I thought, yeah, that's interesting. These are a few rocks there, which I placed on the wood. You can see layering. There is iron. There is craters. There. And then we go. You can see for yourself what is going on here. There's like triangles, and they somehow continue here, and there's straight lines, so they were somehow interfering when it got created, this rock, and it seems that it was quite in a liquid state as it got fused together. And just for size comparison, my sunglasses, and I cleaned that region out so that you can see it's really smooth. And it's basically not on top of a rock because it's in this indentation in the rock. We were looking at this region just. So yeah, it's on the surface, but it's not on the surface. It's not exposed to whatever. And you can see also straight shockwave lines here going through the whole rock. And one thing is also what I find interesting is that there is almost nothing growing on these. Here on the side there's some little... No, nothing. Only in places where stuff accumulates naturally because it doesn't get um, taken away by the water or something. There we have some mosses, but otherwise there's nothing growing on the rock itself. Then you go a few meters to whatever direction, and for size comparison, here are those needles which drop from the trees. And like as we had just before in the clouds, we have these repetitive patterns. And also a shock wave that's actually across the cross of Laramie. And this was in the ground. I was digging it out a bit. I didn't have any tools. I forgot everything. I should have taken some measurement tapes and stuff, but noticed that all the things, they were left at home. And here we have some really nice tetrahedrons sticking out of the ground. And they have a different composition than the rocks here. And that's also like, if you watch this region, for example, and compare to that, it's a totally different story. Something completely different. Still the same. The direction was this way of the winds. But there has been some separation going on between materials. And there has been a monastery on that island. And there's a copper mine as well. So the thing is, usually churches, they get, here you can see the size comparison, there's a human. And here we have this indentation in the rock. Anyway, there was this copper mine and this monastery, which burned down for some reason, and it got abandoned. Somehow, I think there's more to the story. Here we can see at some straight line, a shock wave, I would say, which interfere with the rest of the process. Here you can see layering. That's a bit of a close-up. It's a little bit strange light, but this is approximately how it looks. And that's sand. So that's a close-up picture. This might be 1 centimeter. I don't know. Something like that. That's quite small at least. The reason why I put my finger there is for size comparison. There's just a hole in the rock. And there are quite a few of these kind of. They're just holes burned in by lightning. And notice how shiny the rocks are. They're like really shiny. Then we have this kind of quartz or whatever this is. It might be quartz, but there isn't really much of that. And there is nothing growing on these rocks neither, which is an interesting fact. And quite big holes, and like we could call them craters. There are many of those, thousands. And these are my shoes, which are making this squeaky sound. If someone would just show you a picture of that and would ask you to tell him what you see, you probably would say that's some molten metal. And it might be just that. Some more tetrahedrons, quite metallic in appearance. And nothing growing on that. Some small pieces. Got to check them out under the microscope. It would be really cool to have a place to send them and they just could tell me what it's made of. And there's a place to gather. Like, you can find all kinds of rocks there lying just around. Stuff like this. And I finally found a rock with craters in it, which you can take in your hand. Which is a really cool thing. Now I have a rock which fits in one hand with a C pinch, and now I have a rock with a crater in it which fits in one hand. Quite amazing. So now I have a C pinch stone and a crater stone. And I think that's very good proof for the universe being electric. Yes. That's, yeah. You can experience it because you can feel the weight of the stone, you can smell it, you can lick it if you want to. You can then experience. It's quite something. I didn't check that really yet out. I just went through the pictures and stuff, but that's really interesting. Crater. And I don't think that's made by a meteorite or asteroid or whatever. Lightning bolt, as well as the one on the left. C pinch. Thank you. Bye.